Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with another video. All right, y'all, just back with a real quick discussion video here about an upcoming fight, a fight that I'm anticipating, as y'all know, on this UFC 269 preliminary card. But first off, I have to say shout out to WMMA Addict. You know, I caught his live stream on the go today, and it was an interesting live stream, very interesting live stream I caught. And it had something to do with Miranda, Maverick, and Erin Blanchfield, of course. You know, a few days ago, he had posted up a poll, basic question, who's going to win the fight, Miranda or Erin? And when the results came in, he said he was pretty much shocked that Miranda Maverick blew Erin out the water. You know, it was like Miranda, 80 some odd votes, 80% was for Miranda Maverick, and 20 some odd percent was for Erin Blanchfield. He just kind of found that shocking. And after I saw that and how he kind of broke it down is just basically everything I've been talking about on why it is shocking, because if people really know this game and, if they really are followers of WMMA, they should know that this fight is closer, because if people were really researching these two fighters, they would know that this is a tough fight, or you would really see more people riding with Erin because they would understand her style, and you would see an even amount of followers, even on his channel, that would kind of balance it out a little bit more. That's why it is a little bit shocking. But to me, I can understand why it's not, but I definitely understand why it is for the hardcore fan like Addict. If Addict feels like it is shocking, I do agree. But then again, I feel like it isn't shocking because I have people on my channel telling me, or asking me like, what do you see so good? What do you see so high? Why do you think so high of Erin Blanchfield? Or, I don't see anything in her. She hadn't proven herself. But it goes back to doing research. Like people are basing everything off the UFC. Like they're not doing their homework on these fighters. Like they're not going back and looking at the work these fighters laid down. Like if you go back and look, Miranda and Erin were in the Invicta FC. They were in the Invicta FC organization around the same time, right? And if you go back and look, they were pretty much neck and neck. And some people might actually say Miranda's ahead as far as skill set then, or some people would say Erin is. It all depends on how you look at it. But if you look at what Erin was doing back then, she was really making some improvements, and she was a very dangerous fighter. So if you would ask me like who had got to the UFC first at the time, I couldn't have told you. I really couldn't have told you. It just depends on, who they choose first. I mean, because it's not really coming down to who's the best fighter on how the UFC chose it, because hell, Erin Blanchfield has a win over Kay Hansen, but who got to the UFC first? Kay Hansen, right? So if you're just basing it off of who got to the UFC first, that means you really need to do your research and you shouldn't be voting. You know what I mean? Because Miranda Maverick, yes, she has the experience, but if you go back and look, like, man, like if you would have tried to put them in the octagon at the same time when they're in Invicta, who knows how that would have went, because that fight was actually discussed back in Invicta, and I was like, oh man, hold up, I'm torn. I'm 50-50 on this, because both fighters were that good. And there's some things about Miranda I like, but there's some things about Miranda I like, but there's some things I like about Erin as well. She's got a dominant factor at a young age. She's got that cold-blooded factor, hence her nickname. And then you got a smart fighter and a fighter that's able to adapt to Miranda. So they were just both like neck and neck. It just came down to who they chose first, and I kind of found it surprising that Erin wasn't in that Phoenix tournament series for the flyweights when Miranda was. That would have really made it, tough to call. Also, when she wasn't in it, I was surprised they didn't go ahead and put Erin Blanchfield in the UFC at the time. I thought that was just kind of strange. But yeah, Erin's got a lot going for her. For the people that are counting her out, she's got a lot going for her. And this fight is a hell of a lot closer than people think. Erin's very dangerous. But like I said, I definitely agree with them on that part. That is shocking that not many people know. For people that claim to be WMMA fans, that you really have to break it down to them and tell them to go watch these fights to really see what it is about Erin that makes her dangerous and what we see in her. And like I say on my channel, like I think she's close to a well-rounded fighter and why she's so dangerous, But the other side of me says, okay, I know why the votes are high. I know why the votes are high, because nobody's familiar. Because even on my channel, when I ask people, who do you got, Miranda or Erin? They're like, I don't know. Like, I haven't really seen Erin before. I'm like, really? I'm like, come on, like, you never heard of this girl? You never seen her? Like, she trains with Caitlin Kagan, Tanisha Tennant, Claudia Gadelia, Sarge Eubank. She was in the Invicta FC around the same time as Miranda Maverick. So, it's just one of those things. Like, you have to go back and see what we're talking about, see what I'm talking about over here too as well. Like when I tell you this fight is close or I'm torn for a reason. It doesn't have to do with her just coming in and so, oh, I like this fighter. I'm basing it off of something. And that should hold a lot of weight coming from me, just saying that, because if I say Miranda Maverick is part of my triple threat, I say she's got potential and she's there for a reason. But if I'm telling you this fighter named Erin Blanchfield is coming in and it's 50-50 and she has a good chance of winning, that should tell you what I think of her. I just can't put her in that triple threat or quadruple threat or whatever yet, because she needs a couple of wins on her resume, right? She got the skills, but now she just needs a couple of wins on there as well. And if she gets this win over Miranda, then guess who's in that quadruple threat? Guess who's in there? Because he's going to have a legit win over a fighter who's got a good resume in the UFC, just coming into the UFC, right? So I do find that surprising. Like I said, though, a lot of people think that it's going to be an easy fight for Miranda, but all honesty, as a fan of Miranda, and a fan of Erin, this is a tough one. I'm torn between this fight, and I just can't call it. That's why I didn't vote. I just saw the results on his live stream, but I couldn't vote. I saw that poll. I was like, oh no, I ain't touching this one, because I'm not ready to cast my pick on this one. But I'm going to go back and just do some research on a few more fights. But I pretty much seen all the Miranda's fights. I seen pretty much all the Erin Blanchfield's fights. And that's why I'm telling you, like, from what I've seen, aside from the experience, these two fighters are both kind of neck and neck. They're both young, dominant, hungry. It's just that I feel like one fighter has something that can cancel out the other. So it's really going to come down to execution when you think about it. So yeah, guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Like I said, go back and do your research. You got a few more days before the fight. I know you want to stick it out and just say Miranda. And I know a lot of y'all are surprised that I'm not just sticking it out saying Miranda. But again, I'm a fan of this fight game, and I'm going to be real with it. So if I tell you over here that this fighter has a good chance, we ain't basing this off of looks, and we ain't basing this off of just a fighter being a woman. We basing this off of talent over here. So y'all better, y'all better go back and do your research on these fights. That's what I'm saying, man. If you want to be called a hardcore fan, do the research. So yeah, shout out to Wmma Addict though. I like that live stream because he really did take the time to tell you the truth. Look, oh man, like, it's shocking. Y'all don't know nothing about Erin. I thought I was the only one, but Erin's got it. Erin's got something. And believe me, if she gets this win, I'm telling you, man, you might see her skyrocket past a fighter even like Manon. I'm telling you, like, you might see her, catch up to Manon and break into that top 10, because this girl, she's got some tools. She's got a lot of tools. I'm gonna just put it that way. But yeah, my final thoughts, like I said, it comes down to familiarity as well. Like, everybody wants a safe bet. Everybody's just going to go with the fighter they know. That's why when I saw the poll 80% going for Miranda, I wasn't surprised, because it comes down to people saying, okay, this person already has that experience. I seen them go in there, dominate Jillian Robertson, stop Liana Jojua, and controversially lose to Macy Barber, which is still a fight I think she won. But this is Erin Blanchfield. This is Erin Blanchfield. Erin Blanchfield's got better striking than Jojua. Her ground game, it definitely gives Jillian Robertson a run for her money, and I think this girl has better all-around striking and killer instinct than Macy Barber. Yeah, I said it. And she's a faster starter, too. Erin Blanchfield is a much faster starter and has many more tools to make this a tougher fight than Macy Barber. So, yeah, man, when it comes down to it, it's just all about, going back and researching these fighters outside of the UFC. You know what I mean? Like, you got to go back and do your homework on them before you can just say, okay, I'm basing it off of the unranked fighters they beat here. That means, okay, this person's going to have an easy time. Or you're going to say, okay, this person here, I can't give him that much credit, because this is all they done in the UFC. But no, like, you got to go back and look at what type of fighter they became before they got to the UFC. Like, again, like I said, somebody like Erin Blanchfield, she was already making improvements in her game, even after a couple of losses, and a couple of close wins, to become a better fighter, before she got to the UFC. Like, I seen her just be a wrestler. I just seen her be a grappler. And then there was a few fights in Invicta where she started improving in her kickboxing and just keeping range as well. So there's a lot of things like that you have to go back and look at, before you just go ahead and say, okay, this fighter hasn't shown me anything, because, again, fighters like her, Manon Firo, you know, they built their foundation off of something to just go in here and blast these fighters out, right? They built their foundation to make people say, okay, this person's got something, or they got an it factor, or they start early in the very beginning to find what it is that is their niche. You know what I mean? Like somebody like Erin, somebody like Manon, Taylor, Miranda, they're finding their niche early on. So once they get to the UFC, it's just all about adding a little bit more to their game and even polishing and sharpening that sword up. You know, that's what it's all about. So yeah, man, again, this ain't a pick yet. I can't do a pick yet because it's tough. I got to just kind of go back and measure, you know, again, and kind of gauge what I've seen from Erin Blanchfield early in her career, even in her first win in the UFC. And, you know, just some of the fights of Miranda Maverick as of late, and just kind of go back to what she does well, even in some of her, you know, grappling tournaments, you know, because I think this is a very tough fight here. It's probably one of the, probably going to be one of the best and one of the most technical unranked fights that we've seen in a while, you know. And like I said, some people won't agree with me on that just because they're unranked. But no, these two fighters are smart. The only thing separating them from the top 10 right now is just the resume, you know, a couple more fights to be put in. But they've already been growing in their skill sets. You know what I mean? Like a little bit faster than some of the veterans in the game. And they're already a little bit more well-rounded, even like more than like the JoJo's and Jessica Eyes. You know, I'm just being real because they're coming into the game when it's already evolved, right? So again, this is a very tough fight. Again, shout out to Addict. Like I said, that was just a good point in the stream that he brought up, definitely, because it just makes you say like, wow, everybody's counting Erin out, and then they're not really looking at what type of fighter she is. They're just basing it off of the win over Sarah Alpar. But no, there's more to watch, man. That's why I tell y'all, like, when I see something in somebody, it's because I've done the research. So please just go back and do that research, you know, before you think I'm just picking somebody to hype them up. You know, I don't hype people up. You know, it's all about the work they put in. So guys, let me know in the comment section what y'all think. Combo Breaker 99, I'm out. Subscribe. Peace.